99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM.
All right, you know when you hear that, it's complete because I'm in the seat. The name is Nortey by nature. Program Ultimate Health. Your ultimate guide to healthy living. Listen every Sunday, 2:05. By His grace, we are live.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Lock it down. Shake it down. By all means, we'll have fun, but we'll still get it done. Some call it a program, I call it a promise. Some call us a frequency, I say we're a family. Having said that, we take some praise from Peter Bogosi. A new one from him, you know him as Famille. And he says, very soon we shall pop champagne. Gospel according to Peter.
Joy 99. Joy 99. Joy 99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM.
My G cool down, don't stop. Time they cool down, don't stop. Plenty enemies don't talk. Silence money, don't shout. Very soon you pop champagne, I bad ammo. Maxiliama, how are you? Very soon you pop champagne, I bad ammo. Maxiliama, how are you? Heaven, I wanna ride. Heaven, I wanna ride now. Heaven, I wanna ride. How are you? Heaven, I wanna ride. Heaven, I wanna ride.
Yeah, heaven's right here.
Get up, stand up, do your thing. Don't worry, do your thing. Will it, Saba, who party? I found 3 months while I got it. I tell my friend, send you a message, I
just don't know how he does it, eh? If I would trim more, I got to. Can you believe that? Sure. Heaven is right here on Joy 99.7 FM. The program is Ultimate Health, your ultimate guide to healthy living. Just gone by. 10th of October was World Mental Health Day. The Queen Mothers are right here.
And if you friend ya better walk.
Joy 99.7 FM.
I don't know. Take your time, nobody. Yeah, did it, and get it.
That's right, my new love from Famille. Peter Bogosi. Heaven is right here. I was so in love with his praise, eh? But this one's got me. This one has got me. Welcome aboard. So we're live on Facebook, YouTube. WhatsApp is 055 11 11 997. Yeah, I had the clinical psychologist in the studio last week. Dr. Erica Dixon, physician, clinical psychologist, and plenty of other things that I can't mention. She's with the 37 Military Hospital. Dr. Joanna add manya because ever since I called them manya, I can't do it without the manya. Manya bakupe ekome. Dr. Joan Laria Futu, she's with the University of Ghana Medical School. Sorry, University of Ghana Department of Psychology. Almost said psychiatry. So right, we're talking World Mental Health Day, prioritizing mental health in the workplace. What does that mean? How will you know? What should you see before you say your workplace is mentally fit, mentally healthy? I had the association this week calling upon government to implement the workplace mental health index, right, as a benchmark. Annual assessments of your workplace to, determine whether you're safe mentally, right? But what does that mean, right? Is it your responsibility? Is it the responsibility of your employer? Or is it a shared responsibility? Does it apply to you in, let's say, informal work? Indeed, what is work, right? That's why I've got my guest in the studio. Last week, we started changing the narrative on suicide prevention and response. We've changed the law. It's decriminalized, right? So, we will not be punishing or sanctioning those who, through no fault of theirs, attempt to end their lives, right? So some changes have taken place in the narrative and in the response. We'll wrap up on that and then delve into mental health in the workplace. Ladies, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, when I'm jamming, then you are sitting there, serious psychologists. You are sitting
Oh, you didn't see the jam?
I didn't feel it.
Oh, you weren't looking.
What kind of high life is that?
You weren't looking.
But you are welcome.
Thank you.
Always great to be in this human sandwich, right? But just gone by World Mental Health Day. People are getting used to it since 92, I think. We've been celebrating this, and it's a day we raise awareness on mental health issues. For a lot of people, we print T-shirts. We're all over the radio stations and TV stations, and then we go to sleep.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So you agree we went to sleep?
Well, we don't hear as much as we need to hear.
All right.
So I would take that.
Okay. So we bring it on the front burner. Right. And this year, we are focusing on the workplace. Let's discuss the theme and its importance. Erica.
Well, thank you very much for inviting us again. I think from our discussion last week, it's clear mental health is extremely important.
Right.
And one is mentally healthy, not simply because you don't have a mental disorder.
Okay.
We all have mental health, just as we all have physical health. And your mental health can be good or it can be poor.
Right.
Even if you don't have a disorder.
Okay.
We spend most of our time in the workplace now. 8 hours at the workplace. The rest of the time is through traffic. And we even barely have time with our families at home. And so if any place should be conducive for us to thrive, it should be our workplaces.
Right.
And so this year's theme appropriately talks about the fact that we need to start talking about mental health in the workplace. Because if we're going to have so much contact time in this place, then it should not be a place filled with toxicity.
It should be a healthy place.
It should be a healthy place.
Not just physically.
No. Definitely our mental health overrides even just our physical well-being. And of course, when your physical well-being is not doing well, your mental health is also going to suffer.
Okay.
So when we talk about workplace mental health, we mean your psychological, your emotional, your social well-being within the workplace.
Okay. How the work is defined, constructed, the relationships, your terms of employment, whether you feel psychologically safe to make your contribution, your unique contribution in that workplace, right? There are certain things that you're afraid to say, right? They're going on. It's going on in your workplace, but right? So we talk of psychological safety, some of these transitions that the workplace goes through, mergers, layoffs, retirement, and all these things are part of the mental health.
Very much so.
Right.
Very much so. Because if you are not prepared for properly for changes, it has a bad way of hitting your mental well-being.
Okay.
Recently, we've seen bank mergers and close downs and all of that. without adequate preparation,
And
and
haircuts.
it was devastating.
And haircuts.
Yes, yes.
Right.
That was extremely devastating
Yeah.
for everybody.
So
Yeah.
let
Yeah,
me
Joanna.
quickly add on. Yes, as Nortey spoke, I was thinking that he was looking more at the formal sector. But yes, there are a lot of people in the informal sector. You go to the marketplace, can we make it psychologically safe for those around there?
Okay.
Some are into construction, some house helps and
Casual
labor.
It's still
And
work.
yes, it's still work. And I believe that wherever we are spending our time, like my boss said, we spend a lot more time in these areas. And I believe that we must make it conducive for ourselves.
Okay.
The interrelationships that we have around there, the situations we find ourselves in.
Okay.
Maybe somebody is sitting in an air-conditioned office. Another person is in the hot sun at Mokola.
Choco trotro. It's a work.
Chotro, yes, it's
Yeah.
a workplace. How do we make all these places psychologically safe for people around there?
Okay.
I think that is a good call for the theme.
Okay. Right, folks, if you just joined us, 13 minutes past the hour of 2 on Joy 99.7 FM, 13 minutes past the hour of 2 on the 13th of October. Right. So you can't go wrong. Yeah, we're talking about mental health issues within the workplace. Your mental wellness. How we secure it, protect it, enhance it. Right? Is it your duty? Is it your employer's duty? And if it isn't evident or manifest, who do you talk to? Is it HR? Is it police? Is it the psychologist or the psychiatrist? Where do we situate this thing we call mental health within the workplace? Is it a comfortable conversation, or is it something that's maybe pasted in some kind of mission statement or your rights? Where should we situate it? Are there laws that protect this for you, right? And if there are, how do you activate them? Okay, workplace harassment, sexual harassment. They are workplace predators.
Yeah.
They wait for the new recruits the same way
NSS.
they do. What was it on campus? Was it October Rush?
October Rush.
October Rush.
Okay. All right. They are confessing. Right. I don't know who they were rushing on, but the ladies have confessed. Okay. If you have any questions, concerns, WhatsApp is active 055 1111 997. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, and shortly I will activate those phone lines. I want you to talk. During COVID, this issue of workplace safety, mental health issues came up prominently. In fact, we activated systems and strategies that helped us to continue working, but also to protect us. So many organizations, many employees became very, very, very conscious and aware. Joanna and I did some work over that period with some organizations, and there are many issues.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And so we expect you to join this conversation. It's not just qualified psychologists. No. This is everybody's business.
Business.
All right. If the teacher at your child's school has mental health issues or is stressed, please, your child is at risk.
Sure.
Okay, what is the climate? What is the environment within the workplace? Okay, job security, big one. All right, I'm working, but I'm not sure. I've seen people sacked. Just
At the drop of a hat.
thank you. I was looking for the right phrase. Putupru. You've been sacked. I haven't been sacked yet, but I'm scared.
Yeah.
Okay, years ago, and another one, real life professional experience. I had to handle a gentleman who had attempted suicide, and he was working in a bank. He made a mistake. He identified the mistake, corrected it. Okay, the system picked it up, but he said, "Oh yeah, nothing. We didn't lose anything. It was just a blip. I sorted it out." But through the negotiations, he was given the option to quietly resign. So, jump or be pushed. It was a dilemma for him. So he was dilly-dallying, but there was a separation. Okay, it wasn't properly a resignation.
Yeah.
It wasn't sacked, but for 2 weeks he didn't know how to disclose this to his wife and his young children. But he would dress, wear
And
his
leave
stuff,
home.
and leave home and go and wander around in this Accra of ours. So after 2 weeks, he just thought, "Hey, I can't face this. I can't handle this." So he attempted. He didn't succeed. But he sat in front of me in my consulting room and said, "Charlie Nortey, I did psychology, but at that point in time,"
Yeah.
and I felt betrayed. I felt let down.
Yeah.
All right. These are the kinds of issues we're looking at. Okay. He was not mentally ill, right? But the circumstances were what we're talking about. You know, part of mental health. Your mental. What gives you that shelter, that safety in the workplace? There's a workplace there, but you go and speak. Suddenly, hey,
Transfer.
transfer mpo. You see, so these are the issues we're talking about with my guest, Dr. Joanna Larry Afutu. She's a clinical psychologist with the University of Ghana, and Dr. Erica, your middle name?
Damfrekwa.
Damfrekwa. Charlie. Fanti?
Yes.
Fanti for the Twitters. Zzz. Yeah. Erickson. Erica Dixon. Let me say Erickson. Yes, true. She's with the 37 military hospital. So we're talking about these things. We want to know what it is. We've kind of defined it, right? And then we want to understand, are there policies? Okay. When we say we want to prioritize these things, do we switch on a button in the workplace? What am I going to see? Right? And then I'm going to be asking them also, what is the current situation? Right? Are we already doing this and seeking to do better? So let me come back to you, Joanna. Is there this consciousness, this conversation, this priority and policy mainstreaming of mental health in our workplaces?
Yeah. So there is a mental health policy, but not specifically for workplace.
Okay.
If you look at the health and safety, we have policies that looks at structural safety at the workplace.
Okay.
But this is concerned with mental health.
Right.
And because it's mental health, let me quickly deviate to define mental health.
Okay, no problem. It's not a deviation at all.
So we are talking about ourselves. If we talk about mental health, we are looking at a situation where you have a good well-being, where you are able to, we have stresses around, you're able to deal with these normal stresses of life, where you're able to identify that I am capable of doing this, and that, where you're able to contribute or work productively and then contribute to your community. So in this place, workplace. So if, like Dr. Dixon mentioned, it involves your psychological, social, and there was a third one, an emotional well-being.
Right.
If these are not there, you can't be able to function. You can't be able to deal with the stresses of life. You can't be able to identify that you have potentials. You can't be able to you can't work productively, and it also affects your contribution. And so in the first place, I think each one of us must be concerned,
right,
before we look at the larger society. I work at a place where the structures were there because there is a psychologist with you that you can relate with, talk to, and all that. But when you talk about mental health, they are like, well, the workplace has not provided this and that and that. And I tell you that it is about you. You need that sanity to be able to be effective, make contributions, and then become relevant over there. So I believe that it is our duty first to ensure that you are well. But if I am working in an environment, just as you are putting the machines there, going for servicing every now and then, calling people to change the machines and all that, I believe that we are human beings. You can't be changed erratically like that. So we must be supported to ensure that our well-being, our psychological state is doing well. Having said that, the workplace, every structure, every workplace or every organization must ensure that they are putting in structures. So I've done some work with Dr. Dixon, where people are proactively asking for policies for their institutions or organizations, and I think it is a good thing.
Okay.
It's a very good thing. With the introduction of EAPs, I think a lot of people are doing
Employee
well.
assistance programs.
Yes, employee assistance programs. I think a lot of organizations are doing well.
Okay, we'll break those down later for people. But let me just, pull this, back and highlight it. A good workplace should be a safe workplace.
Yeah.
Your work should not hurt you, endanger you, damage you, right? And good workplaces are healthy, right?
Yeah.
They actually contribute to your mental and physical well-being. The fact that you work. So work is healthy, right? Sometimes when we're helping people, we want to help them in a manner, in a model, in a mode that allows them, affords them the opportunity to stay in work unless it's really serious and we want to pull them out of work. So what I'm trying to emphasize is work is actually healthy. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it can damage us.
It does.
And this is where we are looking at the mental health aspect of it. Okay? We haven't gotten to mental illness or disorder where a person has been diagnosed with an illness or a disorder. Okay? We're saying overall, comprehensively, your workplace should protect all of these pillars of your health and well-being. And there should be policies that are structured and that address these issues. Okay? How many people have we engaged? What are we paying them? What is the, should I say, intersection between different job specifications and roles? Sometimes people are stressed at work because the roles conflict. Okay? You go here, please, that's my job. Don't come near here. Maybe, we've been here from long. And so on. And it's because the job specification and description was not done properly. Right? People do not understand their roles. People are being appraised or assessed with measures that are not valid. They have no clear understanding of promotion and so on and so forth. All of these impact on your well-being. Okay? Apart from things that, should I say, happen in your life and relate to the workplace. And we're saying there should be policies for this. Right. Can Joanna, can you explain an employee assistance program? Because a lot of these things fit in there comfortably.
Yeah.
But many places don't have it.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. So the human resource department of every organization is looking at the well-being of the employees. But sometimes people have personal issues that they don't want to bring to work. And so if the organization have provided experts who will give education, who will enlighten people about their state of well-being, who will make suggestions to the organization as to how they can make the place comfortable for workers, and who workers can confidently go to without thinking that, yes, the workplace is providing support, but let me use this word, they are still eavesdropping. It will not be good. So the employee assisted program provides a platform for employees to employ qualified experts who can help the organization and members of the organization to promote their mental well-being. And I mentioned that there shouldn't be anything like eavesdropping. The work myself and Nortey did, we realized that people were very comfortable when they are very sure that this issue is not going to the workplace. They'll confide when you really assure them that no, HR is not going to hear about it. It is not going on your record. And so we must put in those structures.
So an important
for
feature
people
is the
to
confidentiality
is
right?
very important.
So your workplace has provided this cushion for you for various issues, one of them being mental health issues and concerns, right? And you have the opportunity to access this help. Okay?
Sure.
Sometimes you access it yourself, sometimes you are referred, right? But after the referral, the interactions and the processes are confidential
Sure.
unless they impact significantly
Your work.
on work performance or workplace, or you require further reliefs under the program. That's what Joanna is explaining. All right. So it's almost as if your employer or your workplace has taken out an insurance policy for you. It covers all of you, and it is at no additional cost to you. Right? But it is an investment, and I like emphasizing this, that the employer and the workplace, the organization, makes in its workers.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you get any challenge, you are working subpar. You are not able to deliver. So the same way we insure our cars, your employer is required to provide you the same cover, especially when it comes to your mental well-being. Yes, Erica.
I wanted to expand on the issue of policy that Joanna brought up.
99.7
We know that
FM.
prevention is better than cure.
Let me just quickly read this out. This is from Facebook. Philip Abochi says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Host. When I had disappointment in my girlfriend, I went crazy. Please, how do we call this behavior?" I wasn't there. This issue has become common amongst the youth. Okay. Well, Philip, these are your words. You say crazy. Okay. It depends what's happening to a person. All right. To other people, it may be crazy. To me, I have an explanation and a formula for my, call it broken heart or whatever, and so on and so forth. Okay. But insofar as it impacts and compromises my mental well-being and my ability and capacity to perform at work, right? That may be the time I decide to fail 10 students, 10 candidates. I'm a lecturer, all right? On account of broken hearts. So we shared that so that you understand, but it has to be properly assessed, right? But you're sharing with us how you feel. Okay. Yes, Erica.
All right. So I was saying that when we have these policies, they are very useful. We have to look at the policies from the angle of preventive mental health. And by prevention, we look at the workplace structures, the content of work. And some of these examples you gave, are the job roles clear for the person?
Okay.
What are the interpersonal issues like? And so some level of risk assessment or psychological or psychosocial risk assessment needs to be done on continual basis. And the areas that are troublesome, that renders some toxicity to employees, has to be worked through. So if you find that in this job place, there's a lot of bullying, for example, within that policy, you must have clearly spelled out instructions or consequences and so on for such behavior, where there's discrimination, where there's harassment, sexual or otherwise. And then there must be proactive activities towards promoting mental health in the workplace, and also protecting employees' mental well-being.
So we can anticipate these things.
Yes.
And then put in place
So you
programs.
You plug the holes,
Okay.
if possible. And lastly, the employee assistance program that Joanna
Joy
speaks to,
99.7
where
FM.
there is support given to people who have gone far in the mental health continuum and are actually suffering. Their mental health is suffering, whether they have disorders or they just are having some challenges adjusting, some severe stresses and so on. And even for those who have mental disorders, our law is clear on it. You can't sack somebody from the workplace simply because they have a mental disorder. You have to give them support. And sometimes when they are doing better and they come back to the workplace, there are certain adjustments or accommodations that needs to be done for them. And all of these, when captured in policy, makes the employee feel safer. Knowing that these are the things that my work offers me. This is the kind of support I get should I find myself in this situation. So it covers a wide scope. And we would encourage that all organizations have their policies.
Take a look at
and these policies must fit into what the laws of the country says as far as mental health is concerned.
All right. So our labor laws and all these reflect aspects of these things, right? And everybody should take a look at. Even understanding your own work contract, right? What kind of reliefs and protections are you given, right? So that you can navigate these things, right? What it, for example, okay, let me ask my guest this. So I've gotten this job. I am supposed to be trained. I have not been given the training, but they got me working. Okay, and they are evaluating and appraising, but they never sent me anywhere. They never gave me any training apart from what I came with, right? I'm frustrated. Is this a mental health issue?
Definitely. I mean, this frustration, you are feeling frustrated for the fact that you've been given a task that you are not trained for. Or even being put to a task that you
Or
are
not given the tools for.
underqualified for.
Okay.
It's distressing.
Right.
So when you are given work that you are overqualified for or underqualified for, it brings some challenge.
The placement is not valid.
The placement is inappropriate.
Right.
And it can hurt your mental well-being. You can't sleep. You are worrying over how am I going to go
And the
about
political
this.
appointees, they like it too.
Well,
They sleep, Papa.
and this is the season.
This is your MD. This is your CEO.
Do you know who I am? This is the season.
Right.
So for well, we are talking of the ordinary people
Of
like
course,
us.
of course.
And for the ordinary people like us, this can be extremely distressing, causing a lot of upheaval. It would be appropriate to approach your HR officers and let them understand your frustration and see how best they can either bring up that training or restructure your role or whatever needs to be done to appropriately put you in good state.
Okay, great stuff. 34 minutes past the hour of 2 on Joy 99.7 FM. The program is Ultimate Health, your ultimate guide to healthy living. Listen every Sunday, 2:05. We come alive and we bring to life all the issues that impact on your health and well-being. And we bring in the practitioners, the professionals to address these things. We're talking about workplace mental health issues, not illness yet, right? But what consideration goes into the workplace? The workplace should not be an accidental, random, casually set up place, right? These things should be considered even in the informal sector. You are doing at the palm school, yes, you sew, or you cook. What kind of conditions in the kitchen or in the catering space or the hospitality space would impact on your mental wellness? I remember years back I did some training for one of our hotel chains, and a young lady said she had gone to clean a room, room service and stuff like that, coming to do the, and the gentleman in there said, oh, you can come in, and then, he proceeded to make some advances which she did not appreciate. And she professionally and, told him that, oh, please.
That's not why I'm here.
That's not my role here at all. You got it wrong. But he got very abusive and chose to report her. And she felt that her direct boss did not support her in this thing. She got a telling off, right? And so in sharing this in the workshop, she looked very distressed. Yeah. So I had asked her, why do you look distressed? She said, first of all, I've been put in the morning slot for this workshop. I did night. I haven't gone home. I told my direct boss that I just finished night. So can I go home? And there is actually an afternoon slot for the workers, for my workshop. But the guy said no. So she was there already distressed. And then she said this other story. How do you deal with things like that? Especially because typically HR ends up being an extension of management, and they themselves are not comfortable with these issues. So we blast it as the theme. But practically, how should this work?
All right, go ahead.
So before the practically how should it work, she said something I want to follow up on. That yes, people get distressed and then you see it physically. What happens once the person is given an environment where he or she becomes worried? They begin to think, why am I in this situation? How do I navigate my way through? The person, as the person is thinking,
and they need
it
the work.
impacts on their feelings.
Right.
How they are feeling. They are feeling so bad about themselves. They feel so sad. They feel so down and distressed. That is when you see this individual probably withdrawing, probably looking forlorn, doesn't want to talk to anybody, is afraid and all that. So whatever we get worried about affect how we are feeling.
Right.
And how we are acting. And that is what she said. People go through a lot, and that displays finally in their mental health state.
Okay.
And so how do we deal with all these things? I believe that we have talked about policy. Not every sector would have the policy. But I believe that just as if I want to set up an organization, Hefa will come. Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have that? I think that if they add mental health maybe evaluation, it will be better.
Right.
Because maybe I am learning how to sew. I remember one day somebody was saying that they asked an apprentice to go and stand in the sun. And whilst in the sun, everybody was moving along the street looking at the girl. She was standing there. Was it kneeling or standing? One of them.
You reminded me.
One of them. And I was like, what? This shouldn't happen.
I used to do a program called Feedback on Joy, consumer protection program. But I was driving somewhere along Achimota, St. John's, and there were these about 12 young men kneeling in the sun with their hands up. And they had these aluminium profile, they do sliding windows, and so obviously they were in trouble. But I was like, wow. And then I got into the studio to do my show, and interestingly, somebody had sent the complaint that he sees that thing a lot. He thinks it's not right. It's dehumanizing. And so we called. That program was lovely, Feedback. We called the gentleman, and he said, oh, he's sorry, but some of these boys, they are willing to it. When you talk, they don't hear. So when you do that, then they shape up a bit. But some of these methods impact on a person's esteem, confidence, and ability to perform. And we need to talk about this. Hello, greetings, Mr. Nortey and Team Ultimate Health. Please, I suggest you establish a psychological unit at all the great organizations as the campaign season is on. Which campaign season? Show you. That those may or may not come back after Ghana decides. Oh, okay. Those who may or may not come back after Ghana decides could move on positively, win or lose. This is from a concerned citizen. A couple of years back also, I was on a show with, I think he was on the phone, the late Sir John. And that is where the fear delegates came up, right? People were asking, so how do you move on when these things affect you? Okay, well, it's a kind of a workplace, and somebody suggesting that, Charlie, let's go and make some money. The political parties and
it's
the
not
MPs.
a kind of workplace.
I know what I'm saying. So all MPs, please, Erica, Joanna, myself, we are available. We'll prepare you for heartbreak. And yes, it's part of the theme. All right? So, anyway, telephone line 030-221-6541. WhatsApp is 055-11-11-997. We're looking at how your work can negatively impact on your mental well-being. The stress. Okay, stress is any demand. It's actually a response to any demand that can be placed upon you. And in the workplace, there are so many demands placed on you. Are you able to cope? Are you an octopus? Are you able to do all the things? Just as you are finishing, you alone, the boss has brought you more to do, and you don't think it's fair, you don't think it's right. And you're beginning to dodge work. We have absenteeism where you don't present at all, and then we have presenteeism. You are there, but you are not doing shilling. But you're at work. You showed up, and these things are known. There's research that shows that it's an indicator that the person is not okay. Is there a system, a mechanism by which this is picked up, and not just picked up and identified, but addressed? That's what we're talking about. 030-221-6541. My psychologists are in the studio, and I'm conducting the orchestra. Right? The theme for World Mental Health Day 2024, prioritizing mental health in the workplace. We want to be able to have safe conversations. We don't want, for example, you listen to this program and you go to work tomorrow, Monday. Please, can we have a deba? I listen to Ultimate Health and they say we should talk about these things. And then you start experiencing certain things. All right. What should people do as they listen to this, Erica?
I think we've been talking about the framework, the scope of areas that need to be looked at.
Okay.
And we see that a significant stakeholder is the workers in the field of human resource.
Okay.
And so
representing the employer.
Okay. And I think that training in this area of mental health issues, its policies and so on,
build the capacity
must
of your
be
HR.
Ingrained in HR professionals.
Okay.
As part of their training, and for those who are in the system already who may not have had that experience or that training.
All right.
Continuous professional
we should
development.
not assume that HR has the capacity. And sometimes they do, but they need extra.
So there are some organizations that have
capacity.
HR practitioners who are not professionals.
Okay.
For example, so they may not necessarily have had that kind of training.
All right.
And so continuous professional development for those who are in training, so that it becomes just part of the culture. We can't keep bringing them in not properly trained and then training, So
but I'm looking at you and thinking, so hang on a second. So whose side are they on?
Whose side are they on?
Because the listeners, the employees, will ask this.
Well,
hey, please, she's HR, and I'm taking my matter to her. Am I safe?
Yes, I mean HR is supposed to be there, and the welfare or well-being of the workers
as an asset.
It should be their focus because the well-being of every employee. Is the best asset that any organization has,
including the HR,
including the HR. And even though they buffer between management and employees, if they have clear understanding what's going on ground, then they should be able to advise appropriately the management.
All right.
So they know how to roll.
Okay.
But quick one.
Yeah.
As she spoke about the fact that they should train, I think as part of their training, they also need that support.
Yes.
Right.
Because we practitioners, that even us listening to issues here and there can sometimes affect us. So they are listening to a lot of things. Mind you, some of the issues are not work induced. Some people are bringing issues from the house, but this is going to impact on the work.
So the HR
and so they themselves need exactly
for themselves and
for themselves exactly.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Let me read this out. And phone line again 030-221-6541. I'm quite okay talking to these lovely ladies, but I want to share. Okay, 030-221-6541. WhatsApp is 055-11-11-997. Get in on the act. We're talking workplace and mental health issues. This one is from Adom Bismarck. Good afternoon, Dr. Joanne. I'm watching you live. You are doing a wonderful, great job. Well done from Adom Bismarck. For you. Please, good afternoon, Adom Shaye. I want to ask if government will start intervening for those in the private sectors working, right? So we have public sector work, right? And most people can directly see our laws and the muscle there. But some workers can earn less than 600, all right, a month, and yet work for minimum 12 hours. Okay, how will such a worker thrive? I love the word in the economy, in an economy like Ghana, right? Workers help employers to live their dream lives. Please, good afternoon, please, Nortey. How can I get in touch with you? I want you to help with some issues. Okay, I'll let you touch me. Come and lay hands, right? But I'm sure my producer can do that. I have a caller. Yep, okie dokie. I have a caller on the line. Hello.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Who am I speaking to?
So I'm Abna.
Okay, Abna. Share with us.
And so I've been listening to the conversation, and for me, I would like to talk about one issue that has to, affect our mental health.
Okay.
And I think most marketers are experiencing that. Unfortunately, with some organizations, the HR is not too powerful to deal with some of these issues. For example, you have a staff who is a marketer and is trying to, meet their targets. And you have a toxic boss who is also trying to drive the figures.
Okay.
And you see, reporting such a person, in most cases, is very difficult because the organization is looking at, okay, so this person is toxic, but at the end of the day, they're able to drive the figures for us.
Volumes, sales.
Yes. And for most banks, they are looking for profit. You see, so then the bank is thinking, do I choose between the staff who is struggling and needs help, or do I let that toxic boss who gets the work done, go away? So this thing is very dicey. And a lot of marketers are having that problem. So I don't know if you can speak on that.
A lot of marketers, including Abna, right?
Yes, I'm going through that.
I know.
And I'm so really
even the short pause before you said I'm Abna, right? It tells me something from where I sit.
Yes.
I get you. I feel you. Right. In fact, years back, we had an issue with one of the banks. In fact, a couple of the banks who were hiring young ladies, especially and particularly, giving them snazzy cars in the name of personalized banking. And they were subjected to a lot of client and abuse and trauma and harassment. Okay, but the issue was bringing the accounts. All right, ladies, this is an issue we need to look at. How do you address that? The HR, the power is not there. There's somebody who she labels as toxic, but he's driving numbers. If it was the petroleum field, they say volumes. If you are with some what do they call those, fast moving consumer products, and those ones, they want you to move, whether it is oil you are selling or toothpaste, it must move. They give you some branded car, you are going around, but Charlie, the pressure. Now, wow, what do we do?
I think that leaders
it accounts to for a lot of the attrition. People leave jobs.
Yeah.
People are more likely to leave jobs for these reasons than for the money, the pay.
Yeah.
People can deal with bad pay, but these ones, Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, you're right. You don't have to stay in a job place to take the abuse. Now, we talked about HR professionals being trained.
Okay.
But leaders, team leads, need training as well. You have to be emotionally intelligent to be able to deal with a team.
All right.
It's not what knowledge you have in school or academic knowledge alone that makes your team move. It is how you handle and deal with people.
Okay.
You have to see where there's equity. This person comes with this.
Can I do something just before you continue?
Yes.
Look, if you work in a place which is, as my UK people say, lovely, right? All the things are in place, you feel safe and all that. Please call in and share that one too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's not just do
the negatives.
Bad news brown. Okay, if you work in a place where you feel appreciated and you feel your in fact, it's heaven on earth. Right? Do call us and share 030-221-6541. Okay, we're not just here for bad news. Okay, some people are doing the right thing. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hello.
Yeah, I'm not on.
Okay, who am I speaking to?
This is Ajin Joseph Continental Saman.
Hey, Ajingo, please go ahead.
My question comes with two different angles.
Unye.
One, do we need to get a psychologist in all the institutions so that people coming to work, workers with their problems, stress, financial difficulties from home?
Okay.
We are disturbed already. And how do we go about it? How do we get to know so that we counsel them so that it will not affect the work they are doing?
Okay. Second part.
Secondly, if somebody is working in this hotel industry and this I'm a drinking spot, that some of the owners touching and holding should be allowed by customers, which sometimes you, the server, you are not.
Hang on a second, Jingo. What you're saying is, okay, it's a joint, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we sell drinks, food, and you're saying that the owner is saying that patrons of this joint can touch and hold,
And they don't complain.
and the worker, the employee, should not complain.
That's how sometimes it happens at some places.
Really?
Yes. So even if when they go and complain that when I'm playing with your worker and the way she's behaving, it looks as if she doesn't smile or something like that. But to that extent, the worker is not comfortable with that kind of games. How do you go about that?
All right, it's not a game, it's abuse.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
It is harassment. Let me
Abuse.
bluntly say that, okay? Before I let my guests answer that, let me just read this from Hayford in Bator. Good afternoon, Nortey. How are you and your invited doctors? I think this education must be done continuously and not only during October month, once in a year, just because when you visit sectors in our country, you ask yourself whether there is any law on what you and your invited doctors are talking about or discussing. I hope so, and I think we should be having education on it every time. Thanks for the education. Hayford, one of these days we have to meet then. All right. Yeah. So Ajiman Joseph brings in two things. Does every organization need to retain a psychologist? Right. We talked about the EAP, which allows for mass or broader access in a format that you can schedule people, right? But he's asking, do you need to employ a psychologist because you have a workplace and employees, right? How would that go? And then he's talking about almost normalized abuse, where because you need the money, you stick and stay with the job.
Well, let me talk about the second aspect, and
Right.
I'm happy that you spoke to it. It's outright wrong. If you are,
And it's wrong not just from the viewpoint of what the employee is experiencing or what the employer seems to be making a
Enjoy-
norm,
yeah.
but even for the patrons who think that because I drink here, I can touch you.
exactly.
Which kind of high life is
it's
that?
just not all right, and the employer must protect the employees. You must have posters or
And they can actually
notifications
report
that says
this.
do not do
Yes.
this, and your employee should be able to let you know that this person is harassing me, and you throw them out. You don't encourage them to come there and be inappropriate with your staff.
It is also a form of gender-based violence.
Definitely.
And we have laws on that.
Definitely.
You go to Dovsu, please. They will download the people to go and deal with that manager and the people who think they can get touchy with you.
Yeah.
It falls under gender-based violence
does.
because it's more likely to
that
happen
they
to
are
the
women.
women.
Yes.
Right? Though some men and boys also
say,
experience
yeah.
this. Right? Our gender laws are gender neutral. Right? Get that right. Yes, Joanna, you're going to add something.
Yes. So, on the issue of should every organization have a retained psychologist, if you can employ, why not? That is the way people are going now. That's the norm.
Okay.
Having said that, some may actually have challenges doing that. You can also take a different route. Perhaps get people who are maybe mental health ambassadors, get them trained, and these people are supposed to intermittently refer cases to cases that are above them to psychologists. When Dr. Dixon was talking about working in teams, yes, we lose sight of the fact that the HRs, we lose sight of the fact that the team working in teams serve a psychological purpose. Because if we are working in teams, maybe there is a mental health ambassador in that team.
All right.
This person's responsibility is to learn everybody how you work, how you present yourself, and all that, so that if there is a change in behavior, if there is a change in attitude, there is a quick intervention.
You look out and you can
You
spot
look
it
exactly
amongst your colleagues.
Exactly. And
In fact, the GPA has the 10P program.
10P, yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, Erica, remember to share that.
Sure.
Yes, go ahead. Joanna.
So I think that if you can't afford a retainer, there still can be a measure.
Okay.
Get a psychologist to train people who are passionate about mental health.
These are workplace mental health ambassadors. Okay.
And it even solves the stigma issue. It solves the stigma issue, because we know that we all are capable of or prone to having a mental health problem.
Quite right.
And so we are there for each other.
Okay.
We are observing people.
Okay.
We are speaking with them. We are giving them the basic counseling that we have been given.
Okay.
And then we are referring those issues that are above our capabilities to the professionals.
All right.
So I think we still can
Okay.
do something.
And let me just quickly share this before Erica talks about the 10p, calling 10 persons and checking on them in your space. You know, an important thing is that a workplace can set a threshold that we have provided this EAP under which you can see Nortey, Joanna, Erica, or whoever we've retained a certain number of times beyond which you may be required to resource it yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially if it goes into certain other areas. Okay, I've had to do this with companies for bereavement, which is also another mental health
Yes.
issue.
Yes.
Since so and so lost the husband or the wife, they are not able to work. Sometimes I get that as a referral straight from the HR.
Yes.
Or they notice and say, would you like to see X or Y? All right. So there are different fine tunings for the policy, but essentially that safety net for the worker must be there, and must be there also in a proactive form or mode which anticipates that this could happen. You are not in trouble, but we have provided this by way of preventive measures. Yes, Erica, the 10p.
Yes. So as you listen to us and as you are educated on all of what you have heard today, the Ghana Psychological Association, we encourage that you go ahead and talk to 10 other people, and these 10 other
Check
people
this out, Erica.
would-
Somebody says, please, sir, if the psychologists are not paid well, they'll go into Galamsey. Oh my goodness. I love my listeners. Yeah, go ahead.
So you would you tell 10 people, and these 10 people in turn tell another 10 each.
Okay.
And this would help the propagation of knowledge in mental health. So every time you hear anything in mental health, know that you have the responsibility to tell 10 other people.
10 people.
10 people.
Right? Okay? You learn better when you learn to teach.
Exactly.
That's the principle.
Exactly.
When you know you are going to. What did they teach you at school today? And
They taught a lot.
They taught a lot. You learn better when you're learning to teach. Great stuff. All right? So somebody's worried about. Whether psychologists will go into Galamsey, right? There are workplace mental health issues in Galamsey as well.
Oh,
Okay,
a lot.
all right.
Yeah, trauma.
All right. So work should be safe, and there should be measures to protect us. It's almost time. I'm getting the sense that maybe our listeners are thinking we're talking the ideal. Okay, in a sense, you're preaching to the converted. How do we operationalize this? How do we actualize this? Even in the smallest workplace. I'm learning hairdressing. I want to broach this topic to my madam. What kind of things can we suggest, just wrapping up, to those employees? The marketer has talked about hairs, and I'm well aware of that.
Yeah.
Indeed, some sales and marketing, there was a particular organization in a particular year. I handled, I think, 2 or 3 deaths through road accident. They are driving late because they have an operational area where they have to reach
Before
clients and whatever. And so, Abna, we'll get back to that specifically, because I have a lot of rapport on that one, and as to how we can do this. But how do we operationalize this? Just quickly, if we can wrap up with things you can do.
So we're talking the informal sector.
Even the formal. I mean,
Sure.
I'm a school in a district, a Roman Catholic DC, something in Hobo.
All right.
How do
so
I handle
think
this?
that what we are doing now, educating people.
Okay,
For somebody,
education
they
first.
haven't even heard about this. They didn't know. But is this what mental health is about? Yes, this is what it is about.
Is it a right?
It is a right.
It's a right.
The mental health is the right for every human being.
Okay.
And so educating ourselves alone puts us a step forward. Then we recognize the things that are potentially poisonous to us.
Right.
So that a madam who is overseeing some girls who are learning how to sew would not ask them to go and stand by the roadside or kneel by the roadside
Right.
and raise their hands
Sometimes you see what some
up
house
in the
helps
hot
wear.
sun. Yeah.
You know, and you're wondering, your house help, this is how she runs around in your
Yeah.
house, and you're okay with that?
Yeah. So that lack of dignity and demeaning,
Joy,
putting people
99.7
down
FM.
in what we say, in what we do, in how our attitudes towards them, all that can cease, and all that impinges on mental health and well-being.
Okay.
And this is just a humane way of acting.
All right.
It's you don't even have to go to school for that. You should just remember to treat people humanly possible.
Do the right
Do
thing.
the right things by people around you.
Right. Great stuff with Erica and Joanna. As always, we've run out of time. All right, you want to say something quickly?
Yes. So quickly on the informal sector, I think that if you go, for instance, to the market and even seamstress, dressmakers, and all that, they have associations, and leaders can be called, can be trained. We call them gatekeepers.
All right.
They can be trained on mental health, and then we support them to disseminate.
Okay.
What should be done, what shouldn't be done.
So
I
we
think
get
that
the identifiable groupings.
Exactly.
And use those, leverage those
Yes,
to
yes.
educate people
To educate
and then set
people.
up the structure.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right. Great stuff. 3 minutes past the hour of 2. And yes, we did a little extra time, and we checked with VAR, but I will have my colleague psychologists, there's so many of them, back to look at some of these issues. Bereavement in the workplace. Those who think that they should be able to negotiate their conditions, negotiate flexible working hours. All right. There are some people who do a certain percentage online or virtual, and a certain percentage in the office, okay, and so on and so forth. So I can present my program from home. I won't come here, and I'll leave Ziggy here fiddling with the things. But it's negotiated, and the delivery is not compromised. Right? All of these things exist. In fact, many organizations did it during COVID.
Yeah.
Right? Pastors were even able to do certain very funky things. Sermons and even tithe went online. Yes, they went digital. But we are communicating a bit more and caring a bit more about each other, right? Anything you spend on employee mental health is not a cost. It is an investment, right? When you look at it that way, then you won't be cancelling things from the budget, right?
Joy,
And then your
99.7
HR
FM.
manager or manageress will not be feeling timid. Okay, so we'll come back to some of these things. Great stuff from you, my listeners. And yes, the GPA, the psychiatrist, and other, should I say, mental health workers will be on this. Okay, what I try to do is make sure that it's not just a slogan or a theme, okay, or T-shirts and the brass band and all those kind of things. We've got to make this work properly. So we'll get back to these issues and break it down. Sexual harassment, okay, discrimination, many of these things fall under this umbrella. Many thanks again, the two queen mothers, Manya Erica and Manya Joanna. Joanna has fans, Papa. Let me be careful. All right, stick and stay on Joy 99.7. This has been awesome. Actually, totally awesome. We'll do it again next week, God willing. It's called Ultimate Health. Let me, sign out with Famille.
Yeah.
All right, very
Some
soon.
people are supposed to dance.
Yeah, I love. Hey, they want to dance. So please, Ziggy, come and take pictures. All right.